Veritas. I'm so happy to be here with you today on our live stream, Tavares of the Sun. Yes, there you are, all squared up and geometric.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Indeed.
I am, again, find myself satisfied in full from the meal I just had of acorn squash stuffed with spinach and veggie sausages and sprouted garlic crackers and salad with heirloom tomatoes and horseradish dressing. Oh my goodness, it's so
Where'd
good.
you dine at today?
I dined at the Harvest Man Cafe.
What? I heard they have a whole staff there now.
They did today. We had an entire staff at the Harvest Man Cafe. For those of you who don't know, when we did the lexicograms for the name for Tavares, inside of his name were the letters that spelled out harvest.
Harvest and
Yeah.
Harvest Man.
Actually, Harvest Man.
Literally Harvest
Actually,
Man.
Harvest Man. So I was again at the Harvest Man Cafe. I often don't go there. I usually go there on Thursdays for live stream. I'm not always there. I still have some fresh squeezed Georgia organic pink grapefruit juice that I have not finished yet.
Well, I hear that's how it goes down at Harvest Man. There's fresh juice,
Yes.
there's love prepared into the meals, and
Yes.
a loving staff. Here, Diane from Millicat Studios works there now.
Yeah, she was
Or
working in the,
volunteers.
she was in the, doing prep today in the kitchen with part of my DNA and lineage, taking
Yes.
pictures, dancing around, having a good time.
Yeah.
It is truly the ones who handle the food who are the most blessed to be able to interact with these aspects of life that are here to nourish and give life, and then to be able to arrange those components into delicious and extraordinary experiences for all of us. And I am the recipient of it, so happy.
Yes. Delicious and extraordinary. Probably put that on the menu or something. So,
You want on your Yelp review?
yes, let them know. Tell your friends. You come 5 times, and you get a free appetizer. Welcome everyone, Inla Veritas, to our episode live stream, and we're here with you today. We're going to be talking about power, and our card pull today was the elusive true source of personal power is in living an authentic life, keeping it real.
Yeah, it's true.
So we're going to be diving into that, and that has a lot to do with our solar plexus, our identity, how we perceive ourselves in relation to the world. But before we do,
Yes.
a few announcements just to keep people up to date with what we got going on. So welcome, welcome. We see a couple of you are rolling into the live stream. Welcome, Lakesh, everyone. And so we are wrapping up 2026. We're going to be doing our end of the year group soul clearing.
2025.
Yes, excuse me. This timeline thing.
You wrapping up the year we haven't got to yet?
Yes, apparently.
We're just going to jump to 2027?
And then jump to bring it back to you. I've been hanging with my future self, so something's let me be here now. So we're wrapping up 2025.
Right.
We will wrap up 2026, but we're not there yet. But for now, we're looking to move into the new year clean and pristine. So if you're looking to join us in this group expansion and elevation for the group soul clearing, you can sign up on the Other Sun website. And this idea of the group soul clearing, we are, in general, removing a variety of interferences such as negative motivators, ancestral interferences, and other forms of attachments that encumber our soul, that create this weighted accumulation and kind of dampens the expression of our light. Not kinda, it literally does. So if you're looking to amplify your light, increase this voltage within 2026, join us, because there is momentum when we're working with the group. There's also a complimentary 20-minute follow-up that you can schedule. Upon purchasing, we send you an email with all of this information, so have at it. And also rolling over into 2026, our January class, we have Akashic record reading with myself. We're expanding into the idea that you are the Akasha, and because the Akasha is the ether, these are the platonic solids. You are made in the image of creation itself. And so we're diving into how you can explore your records, the records of another, to understand how your past is impacting your now and your future. And the uniqueness about Of the Sun is that we have, it's not just information. And it was kind of funny. I had a reading yesterday, and what she got something completely different than what she expected, where it's not just here's some information, but what can you do with this information? So within the class, we assist you with utilizing the Of the Sun modalities to address what comes forth from your Akashic record readings. It's one thing to have the information, but it's another to be able to do something with it to move forward. And so also, you're bringing back soul translation, energetic triggers, scans, and healings, specifically looking at energetic sensitivities that are unique to the soul and its experiences. You have some thoughts on that you want to share before we shift gears?
It's just to give everyone an idea, it would be things like not only triggers, like someone says something that triggers you maybe from childhood or from a past relationship. It could be a trigger where you come in contact with a substance of creation, like a nut or a seed or something that triggers trauma to be reenacted from a previous time where you were in the middle of an emotional experience while you were digesting food, and it happened to be that food. So it's layered, it's energy sensitivities to being obsessed with the fact that people might be talking about you, or that possibility exists, that children at school are talking about me, that kind of sensitivity. Then you reach a more mature age and you find yourself triggered because you think someone's talking about you. These kinds of sensitivities we can collapse.
Yes.
If you are ready to release them, we can help you do it. Of course, it's ultimately you who got them, and it's ultimately you who released them. So we're going to have a class for a full month going through the students in the class. We will scan them and see what are the top triggers that we can work on. So it doesn't mean that we'll get everything, because we are a culmination of many things. We're much bigger than we think we are, and much older than we realize. But we will be able to teach a person how to do it and how to continue the process on their own and for their children and or family and friends.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, certainly, and to visit the Of the Sun website. Also, we encourage you, sign up for our newsletter. The newsletter, we regularly send updates on different classes, workshops, things that are happening, and that way you can stay in the loop. And if you're joining us and you're interested in what we're regularly talking about, subscribe, hit the bell notification. We have live streams every Wednesday with Diane from Inlakesh Studio. She does Evolutionary Book Club on the first Fridays of the month. Matter of fact, she's going to have Lauta on the first Friday of January. You all will be covering Call for the Truth.
Yes. Which is really speaking about what we're speaking about today. The idea of how do you maintain and hold power, and it is through the truth of authenticity.
Yeah.
That's it in a nutshell, and it's a billion ways it can be expressed.
Yeah, I think we're going to have fun with this one.
Yes.
It's funny because sometimes we talk about these topics prior and it gets so good. I'm like, man, I wish we were recording. I wish we had the camera rolling, but it's likely it's going to come back, and there's always something new that arises in these conversations as well. And so also Divine Nation, Call for the Truth with Diane. She does this on Fridays as well. 7 p.m. You can join her in getting a card reading. This is a group card reading, and it's done live. And from my understanding, she's having people like Lauren of the Sun, Cecilia of the Sun. I understand Stephanie of the Sun will be there, one of our new practitioners. So there's a lot of new faces that you all might see. Some of you all may know these people, but more of the Of the Sun are stepping forward to share their light and their understandings. So this wraps up our announcements. And again, I'd like to acknowledge our chat before we dive into our conversation today. So again, welcome everyone to our live stream. We have Inlakesh Studio One in the house.
Yay.
Just a moment. I need to make a IT adjustment.
IT at work. We'll have to get a sign.
You know, I have a couple of hats. I do this thing where like I take my hat off. It's kind of funny because I'll go, okay, IT hat off, energy hygienist hat back on. All right, so we got ourselves taken care of. All right, so again, Inlakesh Studio One is in the house. Stacy OTS, Inlakesh Veritas, Stephanie Singletary is in the house. We have Shaka Warrior, bonjour. You two phenomenal sun souls.
Yay.
Bonjour. We have Stephanie Singletary again. She says, that card is my favorite call for the truth card. Authenticity changes the full landscape of life. I know that's right. We're about to dive into it. Diva 831, Inlakesh and Veritas fam. Stacy OTS says she's been using 21-day transmutation. A second. For inauthenticity. We got looking forward to January's classes. Cecilia's in the house, and Lakesh. Russ is in the house. Elijah Woods. Peace, beauty, love, light, abundance. Thank you, Elijah, for joining us. And Gina just popped in. And Lakesh and Veritas, sending everyone abundance and all that brings love and light.
Yay.
So we are here speaking about power. Power and how the elusive true source of personal power is in living an authentic life. And this is, again, a solar plexus card. Lao Tzu, take us to the beginning. What? It's always slightly awkward because you wrote this. I'm like, take us to the beginning. What were you thinking? What is it that we need to know? But where would you like to start with this?
Would you read it one more time for the audience so that they can have the clarity?
All right, I want you all to feel into this and tap into the solar plexus.
Yes.
When you're hearing this and reverberating this in your mind.
Yes.
The elusive true source of personal power is in living an authentic life.
So the idea of this is that humanity finds itself in an ever increasing struggle with power and identity and all that comes with that, the sovereignty and freedom that comes with it. It's elusive to the third dimensional man who walks the earth plane, because the third dimensional man does not know they are connected to everything. So in the interconnectiveness, in the understanding that you are the grass, that you are the tree, that you are the bird, that you are the water, this is where sovereignty and power come from, because it is not as we may think. It is not the I am, it is the we are. The power comes from the being backed up by we. And yes, I am is a great spiritual, we have a great spiritual heritage of using I am, but what I am means is I am the tree. It means I am the grass. It means I am the universe. It doesn't mean I am. It means...
It's from those Elohim Anunnaki
yeah.
beings.
It's a twist of gaslighting on the words of how we hear the truth, but we see it in a false way.
Yeah, that's what I see when I hear you say it, where there is truth in it, but the expression of it is, it's done in a fragmented way. It's not within the oneness. It's still this individualized consciousness that doesn't recognize. It's like it, but it's dipping its toe in it though. It's like, but not fully congruent.
It's the I am that you are not. It's not the I am that we all are.
Yeah, that is different.
Yeah,
It's different.
It's like I am and you are not, so you need to be of service to the part of me that is the I am, but you are not.
You know, when I became part of a Sun, and the language within a lot of our activations, we use we, shall, we, and I found that a lot of people had quarrel with that. Like, why are we saying we? You know, and I think that the disturbance in the soul. Now, there's curiosity, but some people would be disturbed because of the familiarity with I am, and this was so out of the ordinary. But when I would share with them, don't you want to invite your cells, your biology, your ancestors, all levels of your being to the space to move along with you? And they go, oh, damn. I never thought, but the power that's in oneness versus the idea of separation. Pardon me, do we have everything good?
Diane's gonna take a look and we'll
All right.
see. I think
You,
so.
we activate light bodies
Yes.
and we clear spaces and places. We translate souls, but we still get packages from FedEx and things like that. There's a carrier right now. Diane, please sign for the package.
Yes. So
So they,
it's we're in the energy understanding. Topic is so important because what people are familiar with is what they like. We like what we know, and we don't like what we don't know. And so when we introduce the idea of we, people are like, well, who's the we?
yeah.
Who's the all? The all is the all, the we is the we. But if we turn it upside down, the we is me.
Yeah.
And so that's the interconnectedness of it. And this is the part that can be missed through the lens of seeing life through detriment in the third dimension. The room is always full. The room is always full. This room is full. It's full with guides. It's full with angels. It's full with ancestors. It's full with nature spirits. And it is for everyone. The room is always full. There's always we. You are never alone. You are always, by the way, being observed. Even the trees observe you. Don't think because they don't speak to you that they don't see what you're doing in the forest.
Yeah, look at that, look at that, look at that, ooh, look at that.
And because everything is frequency, it depends on the frequency. If you make the frequency of joy, then they are aware of the frequency of joy. If you make the frequency of resistance and being annoyed, or you make the frequency of rebelliousness, like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let them know. I'm not going to be generous of spirit. I'm not going to share information. I'm going to keep it to myself. They feel that. And there is no separateness. And this is the part that we think because no one says anything, that they are not aware of what we're doing. So when we agree that we will do a certain thing or do an affirmation or affirm something that we say we believe, and then we decide to do something else, it is you. You are the we, but it is also the you looking at you that knows the word you gave to yourself that you're not keeping. So there is never a point at which you are so individualized that there's nothing in the cosmos that sees what you're doing when the door is closed. Everything can see you through the door.
So my mind is going to back to authenticity and the lack thereof. And when I hear you say this, what comes to mind is how we are living a lie in so many different ways, but specifically through the lens of operating separate is a lie.
Yes.
That registers as inauthenticity. So
Yes.
again, thinking that when we do something, someone can't feel what
Yes.
we're thinking and feeling towards them, and try to put a poker face on.
Which is ridiculous.
It's like, especially around practitioners, chill, man. Like your empathic friends and acquaintances, but even people who aren't wearing those labels and titles are aware.
Yes, of course.
They're just not using this type of language.
They're not using the language, and they often are so accustomed to it they don't say anything. But
That too.
we know what each other is thinking. That's why we sometimes cross the sidewalk, because we know what the person
Yeah,
coming
like,
down.
oh, I feel something in the field informing
Let me
me.
cross the street. Let
Yeah.
me. So we all know this. It's not about of the sun. This is about the gifts of humanity.
Yeah.
So when people pretend that we don't know and then act as if you couldn't possibly know what I'm thinking, I'm like, that's not quite true.
So I'm getting to a point. There's I feel like we've went into the forest, and like there's like a trail, and then there's like a rough trail, and I feel like we're about to go into uncharted territory. But
You often
again,
say this.
Yes. We need to leave like markers for our listeners and people who are following along. Right. So back to the idea of oneness, right? These things happen because we don't see ourselves as connected, that there's information being passed through the field, whether the person says anything or not.
Right.
And so I move into a space of, oh my gosh, like part of the inauthenticity or the inability to be authentic often comes from not recognizing the oneness, not understanding that I am both an individual and I'm part of a whole.
Right.
And what the individual does impacts the whole,
Right.
whether I want to believe that or not. Whether I think anything of myself or devalue myself, I still I still make ripples in the field.
Well, the reality is belief has nothing to do with it.
That's right. The universe is like, hey,
Your belief in whether that's taking place or not is,
irrelevant.
in this
The universe is
equation,
still doing what
if
it
you don't
does.
believe that you have value and you're part of the whole, you may stumble through that, and until you hit the truth of it. But the reality is, you are part of the whole, and we do know what you're thinking, and that we can feel it when you're resistant. We can feel it when you're rebellious. We can feel it when you're annoyed, and we can feel it when you don't want to talk to us. And all the fluff you throw up doesn't change that.
Like confetti. It's like when I was in sales, I remember the sales coach, she taught us this thing, and she would go, all right, you have to distract your clients. By the way, sales is so manipulative, that's why I had to leave. So incongruent. But she would use this tactic. She would say, you gotta, make them look at the monkey. Like, look at the monkey, look over here. Don't look over here, the sleight of hand, look over here. And I feel like, again, that's something that happens when, I actually think that there is a deep fear that humans have in operating in oneness of seeing, because it's like, it forces you to see things about yourselves. It shatters your, again, solar plexus, your identity, who you think you are, and then you start seeing that, no, this is showing me, oh, I might not be, as grand as I think I am, and I might have to do some changes in order to move myself into the space of, whatever the illusion is right now.
I'd like to flip that. I agree with that. I'd like to flip it and show it from another vantage
we're playing
point,
Uno?
that the anti-life or the incongruence within the person who does not want to accept who they are because it requires more of them,
Yeah.
will sabotage themselves by doing the thing that is unnatural and in detriment, so that they are not required to live up to the glory of their original design.
That's deep. On that note, I want to read this comment. Shaka says, come on, Lauta. Come on. You have your gloves on, breaking it down in the first round.
This is, so I often see that that's what happens, that it's like fasting. It's like all of the world's history, all of the world religions, all of the great, everyone knows fasting is good for you. Everyone knows that. However, if you're not ready to fast and you don't want to fast and you haven't gotten your body on board, it is not a pleasant experience. It's sacrificial. It's like you're the sacrificial lamb. It's like you're suffering the entire time. That is akin to what we're talking about.
I can see that.
Yes. So if you know that your body will rest, your digestion will rest, you will be clean, that elevation and healing may take place, that understanding is obtainment, and that takes you to a new place. That is natural, free, and part of who we are. But mostly we're like, I have to eat every 2 hours. At 4, the longest I can go is 4 hours without eating again. So we mostly wear out our stomachs and destroy our health through too much congestion of too many things. And we do that with sex, we do it with food, we do it with music, we do it with the internet, we do it with
Any type of things that we're taking in instead of being at rest.
that we miss the natural cutoff point, that I'm full, I've had enough.
Yeah.
I have enough clarity and understanding to know that in respect of who I am, I will need to come visit that another time, not have it just because it's available.
Yeah.
So
That's why my mind's going in so many different places.
Well, I mean,
and I still have markers of commentary on what you were saying earlier.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to take it back and see if I'll be able to roll them all together. So to go back to what you were saying about fasting.
yes.
When I hear authenticity, I think of truth. To be authentic is to be the truth, to express truth, which there's dimensional degrees of this. As we were speaking of earlier, the greater truth that you are the we and the I, you're like both, get with it. And then this idea with fasting, not adhering to the truth, it's like the power that could be obtained from fasting escapes us. The limitation of, oh, if I don't eat, then and then we go in there with the lie engaged, and
Then you suffer.
we get no power. Yeah,
Not
we're in
only
victimhood.
don't you get power, you actually are bleeding.
Yeah,
at the
suffering.
end. You got bloods all over the floor. You're like, oh, I don't want to do that again.
And annoyed with everything and everyone and yourself. Hangry.
Yes, absolutely, because you didn't start with the proper exaltation of what you were doing for the exalted reason because of your love of self. It requires love of self to fast. It is not about the opposite of that. So when you talk about authenticity, and I'm thinking about the announcement earlier about the book I wrote, Call for the Truth, there's a couple of things I'd like to mention. That in the word authenticity is the understanding of being the author of self. So the truth is that we are part of everything, but we are individualized as author of our individual process. So authenticity requires you to be the author of you, not the system or whatever's convenient or whatever the new thing is. It requires you to be the author of yourself so that you can get behind yourself and you do it because you want to do it, not because we said it. Don't fast because I fast. Fast because you understand that that will work for you, and you put that power behind it that will heal you, because that's how healing takes place, is what you understand and think about the thing. So there's also this, you mentioned something else I'd like to share, that there's also the difference, and I may have mentioned this before, between what is true and the truth.
Yeah, but take us there, because sometimes people are like, this is my truth.
Yes.
That's your truth.
Well, it may be factually true. Like it may be factually true that you're wearing a black hat, but the truth is not necessarily the same thing as what is true. So it is true that we wear a lot of synthetic clothing because we got plastic floating in our atmosphere, but it is not the truth that it is good for us to wear plastic clothes, and that to have plastic in our brains and in our blood is not the truth of our blueprint of how we were designed to best function on the planet, even if the coolest thing you ever saw that you look the very best in, that never have you looked better, is made of some kind of polyester synthetic. Still not the truth.
Yeah, this is a really great example. Simple, relatable.
So when people say, well, that's my truth, it might be. It might be that you individually are the only one who are able to contain that, that idea. And it served what will propel you into a greater truth.
Yeah.
But in general, there is factual truth, and then there is the truth. And the truth of who you are is what we're talking about in the individualized understanding of self, in the wanting to get power. You cannot get power. You cannot squeeze the power out of the thing that doesn't have it. And I'll go back to clothing as an example. You can wear linen. Microorganisms don't grow on linen. It's an ancient fiber. It has power because it can keep bacteria and microorganisms off of it. So from you wearing it, you now have layered yourself in your own power, in your understanding that's power. Now you're in clothes that have power. Now you've got power that you can direct in your behalf to be, when you walk into a room, to be that. Have you ever seen how pristine people look in a linen shirt?
Yeah, clean.
Yeah.
We ironing
and
starching them.
And it requires more than a synthetic shirt.
Yes, it does.
Because purity in our world requires more. of you.
Indeed, it does.
So it is the truth, not only true. It is true, but it's not only true, it is the truth that you can choose actions, behaviors, foods, clothings that support authentic universal power that can carry you further.
So I have a question that this is inspiring. When I think of my experience with Another Sun and our collective mission, what comes to mind is an ongoing pursuit of embodying truth within ourselves, our conscious understanding of the reality, who we are, what this is, and to embody truth as much as possible, right? And so I can see where because you mentioned about how a person who is like, this is my truth, and yes, based off of what you have molded and sculpted within your consciousness, that is your truth. But ideally, the person is stretching to be something different, or are they not? Because I have seen where some people do not desire to be the truth or to pursue the journey of, you know what, let me stretch for more truth, whatever it looks like, because it can look like my knowledge of ancient history or humanity, the truth of clothing and synthetics, or how to eat, or how I think about myself and others. I'd see a person has to want to pursue it in order to really step into power. This is what's coming to mind, but how's that landing, and what are your thoughts on that?
I'd like to share with you, I am a mother and a great mother. I have children and I have grandchildren. I have lots of them. And what I have noticed is when somebody's too, everything is mine. That's my truth. That's mine.
I think that psychologically, there's a lot of adults. Mine.
Yes, that's what I'm
Mine.
saying. That's the level of matriculation through the emotional. There's layers to this. So everybody on earth is not the same age or level of wisdom and has not gained the same levels of attainment and understanding. And because I'm a mother, I have seen this through newborns, through people who rely on my understandings, who are mature. And what I see, that at that level of everything is mine, that's my truth, that we're looking at, are you walking yet? Or are you even walking yet?
Yeah, over here deep in the greed.
Yeah, if that's the level of attainment of the soul that's going through that process. If I can't touch anything that's yours and we live together, then you have not yet grown enough for us to have a different dialogue other than what I would have with someone who's crawling or just learning to walk. Like, take your hands off of that, leave it, move your hand, take your hands off the wall, that's not yours. You can touch it gently. Is like that.
Yeah.
That's how it's true, it exists. There are people like that, but there's also many of the souls who are on the planet are older souls who have gained levels of attainment and levels of understanding that supersede it's mine.
Sharing's caring.
At the very least, we have to teach the children, we have to teach ourselves, we have to ask for education that broadens us beyond, it's all mine. When you're in prison, you eat like this.
Yeah. Because it's not feeling like oneness. Everything's against you.
But that's the idea that has to be taught, that everything is available for sharing. Everything is available for all of us who are in the same environment, and where the respect and honor come in is in the communication. May I touch your new car? Can I play with your new car? You can play with my balloons if I can play with your new car. That's a good exchange. We live in the same, the balloons live here, the cars live here, we both live here. Maybe we could work something out. Yeah. So we have not necessarily done a good job of getting people to the next level of educational development and how to live with other humans on the earth plane. But to me, that all that means is that there's more education that needs to happen I'm not mad. I'm not spending any time thinking about it. I see it for what it is, and it looks to me like a toddler.
Okay, so this is
Try
in
not to marry
response.
a toddler.
I agree.
Try not to
It's
marry a
very
toddler.
tough. It's challenging.
Try not, even
Oh
though
my
they look
gosh.
mature and handsome, try not to marry them.
Mine. And you know what? Now you're mine. I won't let anyone look at you.
And I want you to sign a document that says that you won't take any of my stuff.
Because it's all mine. Damn, we crazy. Sorry. Jacked up.
Yeah, we humans are kind of crazy.
All right, so, that's why we need that light. Flood ourselves with light, get coherent and whatnot. Okay, so take it back. This response is to my question about the desire to pursue being the truth or authenticity, to return back to power, of who and what we are, and how this type of example of never quite maturing into, I'm going to say, the we, not being raised in an environment that helps you understand to share and be in community, clearly stagnates our capacity to be within our power. Because it's interesting where I see where when we're interfacing with people and engaged, and we're able to, I'll put it like this: Harvest Man Cafe. Being able to be in the oneness and to have other people be of service helped me be within my power.
Yes.
But
There's a great deal of power in
Yeah.
being the purveyor of light and sensual satisfaction and delight for everyone. That's very powerful.
Yes. In order to do that, I see it required me to stretch for a greater truth. T, you can't do everything by yourself. You need some assistance. Bring it in. And me seeing that truth, it allowed me to do more. And we were flowing today. It felt so good, and just so appreciative of my team. However, again, this is what I meant by, if I stayed a toddler, no, I can only do it. No, don't help me, I get it. Because that's not a mature way of thinking. It would have deflated my power, or actually, I would have been disempowered. It would have weakened me. Stress, annoyance, the time, I gotta hurry, and probably would have burned something.
Yeah.
I don't like burning things.
It's very interesting. It's making me think of a real life true story of one of my grandchildren that I think would serve us. So I'll share the story. And you'll see the point a little later. But so my grandson was about 3, and he was very rotund and liked to eat a lot. And he was sitting at a little children's table with another little boy who was very thin and just very picky with his food. And they both ate lunch. And the slimmer child got up to run play. And my grandson said, "Don't get up and go play. If you do that, they'll think we don't want more food. You need to sit back down so that those people in the kitchen who bring the food will know we still want some." And the other little boy got up and went to play.
Good for him.
And my grandson at 3 was like, "I'm not talking to you anymore." I wouldn't play with him. He was kind of disgruntled with him because his strategy was, you sit there and you sit there long enough, somebody will bring you food, even though he had already eaten enough.
Wow.
But that was his strategy. So I'm saying that to say that until a person matures to the point where they recognize they've had enough, they will sit at the table and be mad at anyone who doesn't assist them with getting more of what they don't need that's in detriment to them. So.
Yeah, it's just so interesting.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same humanity story.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different ways it happens, but the story with humanity is that in our development, in our babyhood, in our childishness, we see this, but because all the souls are at different levels of attainment, sometimes an old soul will end up with a younger soul, and it's the idea of the one-room classroom. The idea is so that the young one may accelerate and move further, but often we get stuck. Where the young one just separates and not paying any attention to the one who's wiser, and then they miss the lesson, and that's the point of the story.
Yeah, so again, I'm thinking about this whole oneness experience in community. It's really big right now because we're in the root chakra again
Yes.
with light body, and the idea of the energetic matrix of tribal energy, community, and working together. It's such a big theme, and the more I look at it and repair myself, the more I see how fragmented humanity is in general.
Yes.
You know, the social setups that we have in terms of housing and family, and how all of it weakens us.
Yes.
You know, and it's that in and of itself is not the truth. The way how we find ourselves living is actually inauthentic to the way we're designed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But back to the card. So would you read the card again, and let's see if we've covered all the aspects
I
of
feel
it.
like we can go deeper, but we're getting close to the end of time. The elusive true source of personal power is in living an authentic life.
Yes, I think that you just led us to that point, and that those who are in the chat may have something they'd like to share.
Yeah, we got a
concerning-
couple of different things.
And it's also time for us to take a break.
Yeah, it is. So we're going to go ahead and take that break really quick and stick with us. We got a couple of comments in the chat. We'll go through those. If you all got any questions or additional comments, like how is this landing for you? How is this hitting?
Yeah, we want to know which way you
No.
want us to go with this. There's a lot of ways to talk about this.
Yeah, if you give us more, we'll give you more. Just saying. And, reciprocal energy here. So stick with us. We're going to go to our quick commercial break from our sponsor, Aluka, and we'll be right back.
Every financial crisis has one winner. It's not crypto, it's not stocks, it's not real estate, it's gold. In every financial crisis, there's one asset that always comes out on top. Not because it skyrockets overnight, but because it never dies. Stocks crash, currencies collapse, property markets freeze, but gold, it keeps buying the same value as it did 100 years ago. Look at history. 1929, 1971, 2008. The people holding gold weren't panicking. They were shopping. They had liquidity when everyone else was broke. The winner in a crisis isn't the one with the most cash. It's the one holding what cash runs to when it's scared. When the next crisis hits, you'll either watch your savings melt or you'll be the one buying gold at a discount.
I'm thinking about gold and authenticity.
Yes, I mean, it all
Fiat
fits in.
currency and the lie.
Yes. I also wanted to say, we are teaching this in Light Body to release the programs that take up the space that won't allow for light to come through. So we have space that's in complete darkness with programs that don't allow us to grow, the mine and the I'm not going to share, and it's only me. There can only be one. All of these movies,
Highlander.
all of the things that have been shoveled down our throats through media, and that we see acted out where, by the religions, the preachers, the people in
Yeah.
power, the presidents, all of the different, it's only about me. It's only about me. And that is not the truth. The reality is that those programs stop the light from coming in and can only run the cycle, and that's something I'd like to share too. It will only run its cycle, and then it completes its cycle, and then a new cycle comes in. So everything is temporary, including mine.
It's feeling like mind
Temporary.
is deconstructing in front of
Yes.
us in so many ways.
And what happened previous to that deconstructed too. So everything runs its cycle.
I feel like before that or previously was mine as well. Just
It was a
Another
different point of
iteration.
view of
Yeah.
mine. It was a different point of view of mine. Neither are in support of humanity, but the idea would be, let us release the programs that we see that don't serve us, that don't give us exaltation, that don't give us power, that don't let the light of the universe support, be the wind under our wings, where we're struggling to hold on to everything, and we can see it in our landscape. Let me change the words. Let me change this, and let me not talk to that one, and let me charge this one. And ultimately, it will run its course, and we will end up being able to make decisions that either will, again, not let the light in, or will allow the light to come through.
One last thing before we go to the comments and We see you all in the chat. Honor, respect, and gratitude. I'd like to speak on the idea that this is the solar plexus. This is where our inner sun is,
Yeah.
and the idea of being authentic, being the truth, in a similar fashion as the sun is. It allows us to tap into a perpetuating, renewing type of energy that is really inexhaustible as long as we're staying the course of keeping it real with yourself, being the truth, being authentic. Would you speak a little bit about that as it relates to the fire, the sun, solar plexus?
Well, you're talking about it, but yes.
Yeah, but I want to get the expansion on it.
So we are of the sun, and for those of you who have not heard, the reason that I named this of the sun is because I recognize that a person is part of the sun, and that our solar plexus is the solar part of the person, and that the sun is the unifying central aspect of power in our known universe, in our galactic understanding, and we are part of that. And that when we personify what we think is someone who will take care of us, we miss the fact that the air, the water, the fire, the earth itself are all part of what we are. And when we reduce it to it has to have a head, 2 arms, and 2 legs, we miss the point, because creation is varied and has many aspects, including these large systems like the particular sun that we see, which is not the only sun. There are many, many, many suns, because all of the celestial things that we see in the night sky are essentially those who were once who we are in our level of matriculation, and grew into obtainment of being not only sovereign, but being able to be part of everything, to be fueled by everything that Source has made. So these may be thoughts that don't make sense to you, but this is the greater understanding that is also the most ancient in understanding. I understand I can't say the words indigenous anymore, that those words have been stricken from...
Well, socially, yes, but there was...
So we can still say it on social media, but you can't say it in government applications, the word indigenous.
Exactly. When you're,
as of this week, that was a word that was removed.
Yeah, actually, like a little minute ago,
so
November.
The idea of the truth that comes through all of those, the light from the past into our now, into our anticipated future, supports what I just said. That's my idea.
Yeah, I feel that.
It supports it. So because we think so little of ourselves, we are so unwilling to honor each other.
Yeah.
We're so unwilling to give respect to each other, to call people back, to finalize, to say things, to do things. We have so little respect for each other, and we want to make the point, like, we know to do it, but we refuse to do it in our rebelliousness against, like, no, I'm not going to make you bigger. I'm not going to honor you. I'm not going to give you the light. I am the light that shines, but not on you.
You know, what's interesting is that I can see the I guess I'll call it cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
Because in the person's mind, they think that that's a power move.
Yeah.
They think that, oh yeah, I'm doing it and I'll show you, but really you're diminishing yourself. Right. You're willfully choosing to dampen and eclipse your light and your power, when as the sun, you're designed to share it.
Which is what I started off by saying, is these programs that we have inside of us that make us think that we're tricking, it's our subconscious is tricking ourselves into thinking we're more powerful by being less powerful with everyone.
That's crazy. How we think ourselves into it's like, I'll show them I'm going to be weak. And that's going to keep my power.
Right. Being disrespectful and dishonorable will make me strong.
Lao Tzu, even our conditioning has been conditioned.
And,
It's like,
and we need to
hey.
remove those conditions that have been conditioned, those programs, so we can let the light in so that we can see who we are, so that we can then enjoy the harvest.
Yes.
The Harvest Man Cafe, we can
The harvest.
enjoy the harvest and the good feeling that leaves you so highly vibrational, you don't want to do anything but shine. You don't need to cast shadow. You don't need to leave doubt hanging at the end of a conversation. Like, oh, I wonder what happened. Wonder where they are. So I hope that answers it.
Oh, most certainly. Thank you so much for entertaining that last thought. So it looks like we got a couple of people in the chat. I'm going to work my way back up here. So we trust you all have been enjoying this. I know I have. I'm being fed. Are you not fed, or how's your stomachs feeling? Remind you, I did not eat at Harvest Man. My plate's still waiting. All right, so we have, Shaka comes back, she says, inauthenticity is unsustainable.
Yes.
Pretending to be
Yes.
someone else is draining and creates a sense of
Oh,
being disconnected
yes.
from your own life. That's
Exhausting,
literally
and it
the
makes you
last thought.
sick. You're going to get sick. You're going to have all kinds of things wrong with all of your body systems,
Yeah.
your digestive system, your respiration system, your cognitive systems. Everything will stop working because there's not enough light coming through.
It's so interesting. When you say that, specifically when you start mentioning about the body, I can see how being in the command center, willfully choosing to
Yes.
go in the polar opposite direction when
Well,
the body is programmed
right.
to be life, to be coherent. We're like, no, I'm going to be incoherent. I could see how we're like taking the wheel and turning in the opposite
Yes,
direction,
it's-
going against traffic.
Absolutely. This is such a brilliant comment, and it is so verifiably the truth. Every aspect of the physicality is listening to you. You lie, you make it weaker. You be the lie, you even become weaker. I'm almost going to be the rebellious lie. I'm going to resist creation. I'm going to resist being part of everyone. I'm going to resist feeling good and making everybody else feel good. Just that. Like, I'm going to feel great and I want everybody else to feel great. That's the truth.
Mine. Mine. Mine.
That's a great comment. Thank you so much.
Stacy OTS says the pursuit for universal truth versus temporary fleeing in societal truth.
Well, everything is temporary. So whatever it is that we are going to be going through coming up soon, it will be temporary. It's important to remember that. It is all temporary.
That's right. That emotional wave,
It
temporary.
is all temporary. It is all temporary. Everything is temporary. The universe is forever expanding. I've taught this when you were a young student with us, Tavares. There's always more.
Yeah.
The universe is forever. There's always more.
That made me really happy because I'm like, damn, I can keep growing. I
There's
keep doing
always more, and there's always more obtained. There's no limit to whether you could be a sun, except you.
True. Yeah.
So there's always more.
True.
That's that solar plexus. It's like inside of the seed that is you is everything. It is not the chicken or the egg. It's like inside of you is the sun. It in a very literal way, because everything is literal.
Yeah.
And there's always more. I mean, like, these expansive ideas should help us stop being so small, where we can't even think straight, where we're not remembering things, where we can't keep ideas in our head. We're constantly not being able to be as successful and productive as we could be.
So this kind of ties into the next question. This was again from Shaka. She says, let's bring it back. Do people actually believe their truth? Or do they know it's more so an illusion they've created to survive in their inauthenticity? That's a great question because, sometimes like, you're lying, right? There's this joke that we have. Cat Williams, he goes, do you know I could see you? And it's like, I know you lying, but you lying too, right? And like, what's up with that? Like, does the person know? And I think it's both. Like, sometimes people are so deep in the lie that they believe is the truth, and some people knowingly, no, I'm gonna lie because it feels safer.
Well, and there's a lot of variation. And I was talking to
Yeah.
someone yesterday, and I said, I know what you're thinking, right? And they're like, oh, jumping straight, like, oh yeah, that's right. Like, don't look at me. I'm like, too late. I already saw you. Stop thinking that I'll never see you. You stop, I'll never see you again. You start thinking correctly, and you never have to hear me say, I know what you're thinking about me, right?
Yeah.
But we all know. It's not, I'm not saying that as a me.
No,
It's a
everybody
we.
knows. Yeah.
It's
So
a we.
it's funny. I've been in class settings watching people who would silently observe in the classroom, and I could psychically see them, and I'm monitoring their eyes and scream like, oh my gosh, they're not saying anything, but they see everything that's happening.
Yeah, we see
know?
some of you all like keeping score.
Yeah. It's like, ooh, look at that. Watching the psychic interactions.
Turning off their cameras to giggle. Yeah,
Right?
we see it. So what she's saying is, do people really believe? It's a matter of degrees. There's layers to this. It's like sometimes people believe something of you, but they don't believe it of themselves.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Sometimes their belief is marginal. They may be at 50%, just at maybe 51%, but don't believe enough to be 52%. But belief doesn't matter. What belief has nothing to do with it. It's really, what do you know that you know that you know that you know? That's what we have to give with you, because there are some things that I know that I know that I know. Not everything, but some things. When somebody says to me, and this has happened before, they say, well, I don't believe what you're saying. I'm like, it works out because your belief is not needed. I mean, you don't want to contribute, and it works out. I don't need
Like,
it.
I don't need that. Like, it wasn't a prerequisite for me to.
And I still stand here knowing what I know with you disbelieving. And
Yeah, like shoulder shrug. Like, I don't know what we're doing here. That's a power move. Power move. Okay, so I want to take it back to the part of illusion that she mentioned. People who believe in their illusion, and I was in a conversation with you some time ago about illusion and delusion, and just seeing how prevalent it is. And it's also kind of creepy, because the understanding that I got to with you was that you can't quite clear delusion from a person because the illusion, because they are sold into it. It's like part of their identity until they recognize that this is a part of them that no longer works, and they separate from it. Would you speak a little bit about that?
yes, so illusion happens through trauma, which then fragments. When you are, and all of us, all humans, we are a school of people who are fragmented and who have been, things have happened to us, been traumatized through wars, through our uncles' wars, through the greater wars within our field, and all the wars we have with each other, the whole idea of war on the big scale or the small
Cosmic,
scale.
all of that.
Yeah, so the illusion, so the earth plane is a plane of illusion. We are all in some levels and degree of illusion through the trauma and the fragmentation, which forces us to move forward into lies. We have to lie to support the illusion. We have to lie to ourselves and say we're nothing to support the illusion that somebody did something to us. Otherwise, we could stop anyone from doing anything to us by the way that our clarity and truth of ourselves. But because we don't have it, we're traumatized and fragmented, then we have to think, oh, it's just little old me.
Yeah.
I don't have the power to get myself a job or a house or this or that. And, we have to tell ourselves whatever varying levels, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too this, I'm too that. All of that is a false narrative that we have to support the illusion. But if we hold the illusion long enough, it breeds delusion. It hardens into something like cement, which is delusion, and we all have delusional friends. We all know what that looks like.
Living in the land of Delulu.
Well, the delusion is so hardened that they find the lie, the narrative, the untrue narrative that helps them navigate for a time the hardened delusion, which is like cement.
Yeah.
And when a person comes to us, what is needed is the willingness to know, I need to release something. So you can't come to us and say, my boyfriend's in delusion, will you clear him? It doesn't work like that. Whatever clearing could be done would never get to the submit part, because that the person has agreed to in their own mind.
Yeah, it's funny. That's a great analogy.
Over
I can
and
see
over and over
like
again until
sweeping
it's hard.
debris off the cement, but you never remove the casing.
But things like 21-day transmutation, which was mentioned, and the practices and the affirmations and the all the classes that each wrote, it's a chisel.
Yes, I'm right there with you.
It's a
Yeah.
chisel. And
Each
so
day.
this is not magic. This is you working on yourself diligently with methods that work and have been proven over and over and over again until you find clarity or truth. So I think I'm answering that.
Yeah, that's great. Great. All right, so we're going to continue. We got a couple more comments here. Julianne says, I feel it's the power. I'm going to show this on the stream. I feel like it's the power titles have brought me separation from my mom, definable gifts. I'm a director means hierarchy. I'm light means I'm all. I'm everything, and through light, my gifts.
Would you read the first part
Yeah,
of
I'm
that
going to
again?
try this one more time. Ponder replay. I feel it's the power titles have, I think it's just a couple of typos. I feel like it's the power titles have brought me separation from my mom definable gifts. I think is, I don't know what's happening. I think
Non-definable gifts?
non-definable gifts?
Non-definable gifts.
I'm a director means hierarchy. I'm light means I'm all. I'm everything and through light, my gifts. I think I get what she's saying. Like the idea of titles create separation and these distinctions where I know that, all right, this is bringing to mind, I was reading something from David Bowman. He was talking about how like humanity just, we can't help ourselves. We got to title everything and make it separate and chop it up into compartments, and even our titles, and it's all these things continue to create separation. They just reinforce separation. And so I can see it, but at the end of it all, like, you know, this idea of expanding, like going back to the truth and the essence, you are the light. I'm trying to grasp for straws here with the
No,
comment.
it's true. I mean, there's truth in what's being said. It's one of those ideas of there's truth, and then there's something that's true, and then there's the truth. It's true what's being said, that we have examples in our world where titles create separation.
Yeah.
But it is also true in this universe that when a thing has the right name, it should be called by that.
Yeah.
It should be called by that, because then you are able to access its power.
And I feel like when the thing recognizes that it's the individual and the whole, nothing is lost in that process. Like,
you become sealed and nothing can be stolen, so to say. But we are snowflakes. We are each individually different.
We're special.
Yeah, we're all special. We're all snowflakes. But we also are, our language is not random. That's why they keep trying to take it from us.
Yeah.
The language is tied directly to creation and our DNA.
That's all we get. Yo, I was driving.
So that's why they
yes,
keep
please.
trying to take, now they've removed the word woman is one of the new words that's removed that you can't use on documents for the government now. And there's other words that we know that you have to tape your mouth shut if you say it. And so the words are being removed because in the word is the power of the thing. The words are not random, and they would not be going after them in every country.
Yeah.
And they would not continue through, 8 years ago, 4 years ago, now continue to try to play Scrabble with us. The words have power. So yes, but it is our third dimensional view that makes us separate from them, because there are layers to levels of understanding of what the words are. The words are aspects of frequencies of creation that identify certain types of things.
Yeah. So,
So
I'm thinking about like
not every human is the
literally-
same. There's 121 different types of humans that are archetypal, and that name is appropriate for them, and director is one of them.
I feel a perfect example, because you literally just said frequency, and frequency is a scale. There's a continuum of them, and if we weren't able to just identify or distinguish between the two, like, what's happening?
Well, not only that, but if you're playing the piano, is one key better than another?
No, but it's part of a larger
Yes,
60
that's an
some odd
excellent.
keys.
That's right. So it's not that even though one key may end up being depression, it doesn't mean it's different or better. It's really how is it used in the scheme of things. So
Life is musical.
so there's a lesson to be learned about words, and you will often see me pay close attention to words because words are powerful, and just saying words over and over again in your head can change everything. We use Ho'oponopono that way, but if you just use gratitude, if you just stay in gratitude for 45 minutes, your life could change. Everything could change. If you did that every day, your whole life would change because you brought a frequency into your experience that you haven't had cultivated in your experience before, and that frequency changes the frequency set of your experience.
Yeah.
So that's how I see that.
Yeah, mic drop on me. All right, there's a couple of more comments. Do you still have fuel in the tank for this? Because we're a little over time. Usually we go an hour.
If our audience is willing to let us answer it, I'd be willing to do
People
it.
are still here hanging out with us. We trust you all are feeling good and
I have to run
gaining
back to
value
lunch
from this.
from lunch.
Right? I know sometimes at work people are hiding earbuds in their ear and got the little phone propped up on their desk. Most of y'all are working from home anyway, so. All right, Shaka comes back and she says, in essence, authenticity is the foundation for a life of purpose, genuine connection, and sustained well-being. We got Stephanie Singletary. She comes back saying, living in authenticity takes you out of that jungle feeling, like you're fighting through, and relieves the interference that disrupts the soul. We got some sun emojis from Aria. Shaka Warriors again, she's on fire today. She's like, I'm inspired to be in the chat. Bring it to the final round. Laota with your ancestral, cosmic, energetic, cultural analysis. And she, thank you, Shaka. Seriously, it's a thing. This we've been really breaking this down. And then Stacy OTS says, titles related to identity, which are all related to the solar plexus. So looks like understandings rising within her consciousness.
I think the final thought I'd like to share is that our authentic blueprint is divine.
Yes.
In that divinity, there is no suffering. All the varying levels and degrees of suffering, sacrifice, feeling sad, not having, scarcity, are how far we are from our authentic blueprint. And our effort is to bring forth, through our ancient ancestors and their assistance, along with the angels and our future selves, and all of those who will help us, the mysticals, the magicals, the sacreds, and others, to bring humanity forward to the authenticity of our blueprint that will release the suffering, where we don't have to walk around with a corpse around our neck, or have to stand in lines, or be in traffic, or pick up the children. It takes us 3 hours to get the children from school while we're sitting in all of these construed and conspired ways to make us suffer and sad and older and unhappy and sick. All of the different systems that conspire and contribute to suffering, because everything in our world is that way.
Yeah.
All of the plastic clothes that's getting in our brain, all of that. When we become our authentic selves, the light will not allow for it. It will not be an honorable idea. We will not consider fasting a sacrifice. We will want our bodies to rest. We would want to be clean. We would want that. But until that happens, it's almost dangerous for us because we don't have enough light to sustain us through it. So be mindful in what you're ready to do and take baby steps. But we are in support of who we authentically were designed by Source to be. And this is not it.
No, not
Of
it.
that, I can tell you that is the truth. There are many things that are true, but that's the truth.
Right.
So we thank you for joining us today. This has been a very interesting conversation, and we're so appreciative of the comments in the chat and your support. We hope we'll see you again soon in Lakesh and Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude.